of the people moving around in Langley Township are literally doing that. They're just moving in within the township, so it's not like everybody's commuting to Vancouver or whatever. So there's our challenge. What we've had come on board in the last few years is shuttle buses that have really proven useful, and I think will continue to. They're flexible. I mean, yes, they're carbon emitting at this point, but that's that whole thing is on the process of changing into electricity center. So I'd just like your take on that in terms of how does one. I mean, Frisco is a very concentrated population, small area. I think it's 7 square miles in total, basically, the downtown urban. So.
Well, Melbourne wasn't always a city of 3 million people. And they started trams 150 years ago. It was actually started by the guy that owned the rope factory, and it was a cable tram, so it used his rope. Actually, the first ones were horse-drawn ones that went up Flinders Street.
Just to interject, that's my point, is it's a city, regardless of whether it grew, whether it's Frisco grew. We're not really, we're a township, and with these islands of communities, that's the challenge to my perspective.
In Melbourne, I don't have a direct analogy. Perhaps Adelaide might provide a better one. Adelaide had a tram system. They ripped it all up in the 50s, I think, except for one line, the Glen Allen tram. And that went from Adelaide in the middle of the city to the beach, Glen Allen. And it was an old trolley streetcar. It was heritage tram, tourists, Sunday to the beach, picnic, fish and chips, come home. It wasn't a tour commuter rail thing at all. About 4 years ago, Trans-Adelaide, the TransLink of South Australia, decided to start to upgrade this. Low floor trams, some new routes, and it's just taken off. And it's sort of the same. You've got Adelaide City at one end and Glen Allen at the other, and car lots and things in between, but not really not that much once you get out of the city. In Melbourne, I now moved from living right in the city, where I took the tram to the country, I guess you could call it. The people in the city call it the country. It's pretty much an older road. And it's the same thing. I get on the train in the morning, and after I get past my older road, there's, I don't know, 10 kilometers of farming, horses, cows, and then there's a stop. So all you end up doing is you have the stops further apart. So if you have to go, maybe you'd have a stop at, you have to stop at 232nd. You put one at, put them every block, every mile. Put one at 240, one 248, 264th, 252nd, 264th, and so on. And that enables you to go faster because now you don't have to stop every block. In the city, every 100 meters, 200 meters. So you pick up speed. Now, should the first one be Langley City to Olderdale? Probably not. I'd probably leave that for later. You may want to have, maybe Langley City to Fort Langley or something. Certainly Willoughby down the hill, maybe a city circle route, down Fraser Highway, down Glover, back along maybe 62nd or 64th, back down Willowbrook Mall to me. And you could even have that going just one way. Because it's only going to take you 15 minutes. It can take you 15 minutes to drive your car. Take you 15 minutes to find a place to park. Just by your car. So it's not a big drawback. And you can still keep the shuttle buses will still have their place. until such time as population densities and demand makes it. You're going to have more people. I had people come visit me in Melbourne that would never in their lives get on a bus. Get on a bus? Get on a bus? I have a car. I'm a successful person. They get their place, and they absolutely loved it. This is fantastic. This is the greatest thing. I said, Rob, it's really a bus on steel wheels, you know? No, it's completely different. Completely different attitude towards it. There's a feeling of permanence. You can look at it and see, I'm standing at a stop and you can, I know there's a tram that goes through this. I think there's these tracks. And I feel confident that tram that's going to stop here is going to take me that way. It's ridiculous. There's no basis in fact, but, well, there is. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a tram going that way. But that's different. With a bus, you're never quite sure if, you get on, it's going to turn around and go that way or something. So there is a comforting aspect to being a tram. Don't know why.
And better get moving on here. We've got quite a few questions. Councillor Richter, then Bateman, Ferguson, and Fox.
I'd like to add my thanks to Mr. Gray. Very interesting discussion. Thank you for spending time with us today. I had a question with regards to the costs. How much would it be per kilometer of track?
You have to, there's a lot of work, and each one has to sort of be built up by itself. But for track, a meter costs about $1,000.
Okay, that's the actual track.
That's
Yes,
the
but
track.
I'm looking for a project cost.
And then poles cost about $2,000 each. And as I say, from there you have to figure out, okay, how many poles do I want? Because if you're going to run down the center, you may be able to have one pole in the middle with outriggers, or then you got two poles on opposite sides. Maybe you can use street lights. So it could be, I can come back, if you want a rough order of magnitude of cost, I'll have to actually sit down with a particular route and give you a price on what my guess would be on a particular route.
Yeah, you suggested to start with like a 5-kilometer loop. I guess it's
Yeah.
10 kilometers. So how much would like a 10-kilometer package cost us?
It would be real guess, might be 50 million, 100 million. It depends so much on so many other things. Yeah, and I said the 5-kilometer is a good start because it's long enough to get it working and short enough so that you can actually finish. It's not like a giant SkyTrain project where you forget what it was you were going to do by the time you finish. I can develop a cost, or I can develop a mechanism that you can use to figure out your costs. I say, okay, so many poles, we need this many poles, that many, and then there's other issues, traffic